And we're live. Ken froze up.
What do I do? What do I do?
Hey, Ken. How are you, pal? Today is Friday, October 24th. We are 4 minutes late.
What?
It's 47 degrees and partly cloudy. Who do we have with us today?
Today we have Eliot Lewis with us.
We sure do.
His lovely wife, Dawn, but she's hiding behind y'all.
Hey, Don.
And
Hey,
she is
Don.
lovely.
Yes, indeed. And who else?
We have Torri Ross.
Hi, I'm also here.
Torri Ross.
I'm around.
You're around?
She's on the west side of the couch. John's here too.
Yeah,
we have
John's
John as
also
well.
here.
It's
Hear
a full.
very
It's a
impressive
full
things
room.
about you, by the way.
We're surviving off
Oh,
of violence
good.
today.
Yeah, is the heater working?
Seems like it.
Man, oh man.
I'm wearing a coat just in case.
Fall fell, didn't it? Give everybody a couple minutes to get tuned in. I think Penny's putting this over on your Facebook page.
Awesome.
So it should be popping up
book.
over there. That's
Awesome.
kind of fun.
But it is a nice time of year.
It is.
Doing the drive out here is very scenic with
So
the leaves
beautiful.
changing and the color. It's very pleasant.
I was in North Carolina yesterday, and stuff was just starting to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get here, and the reds and the reds and the oranges are popping. What's
They're
it looking
popping.
in Buffalo?
Actually, about the same. Like, the more that you head towards Buffalo, like, the closer that you get, like, the leaves are, like, changing a lot more. Because I think it's because it's colder. Like, it's generally, like, just, like, slightly colder in Buffalo. But it's cool. This is, like, the first fall since I've moved to the East Coast that, like, I've actually, like, been around to, like, see the leaves change. Because I'm usually on tour around this time. And being from Arizona, don't get this. So it's been really nice.
That's a difference.
Totally. I think it's still like 80 degrees in Phoenix right now, which I cannot even fathom.
But the cactuses change colors, right?
No.
I have been in Phoenix where it's been just like you can't even walk outside. It's like 115, 120 degrees. It's crazy.
It's real gross. I used to work an outside job where like I was a barista at like a chain out there, and you had to be outside taking orders in the summer, and wow.
Yeah.
It was bad. People were like passing out, and it was not fun.
Yeah.
But not
No joke.
Yeah.
Woo! No joke, Jeff.
I'm not laughing.
Ken is.
Oh, I'm laughing. Hey, everybody. It's Friday. We're here with Eliot. Eliot, you are on the road. So,
When am I not on the road?
when are you not on the road? Yeah, no doubt. So we've known each other. We were trying to do the math when we were out in the green room.
Yeah.
We were trying to do the math. 20 years?
I think it's more like 65 years we've...
Can't possibly be that long. But I can't believe it's 20. But I literally think it's 20 years. You used to come see
yes.
Naylor and I in Warren, Michigan in like 2008 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you started? Is that when you started doing like your solo touring in earnest?
Yeah.
I want to talk about your career, but it's really hard to it's really hard to pick a starting point because you've played and seen with so many people over the years. It's ridiculous.
Stupid amounts of things.
Yeah, and for somebody who's only like our age, that's
35. It's
no
crazy.
Shit. Oh, I didn't realize I was older than you. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm only 43.
I was thinking
incredible.
I was thinking it was somewhere around 2009.
Could be.
So
I know we left Warren in 2010, so I know
Okay.
it had to be before then.
mhm.
But at any rate, when was your first professional gig?
My first professional gig?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I did what every kid growing up playing an instrument did, have your band, when we were kids.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out.
And
So-
that was in Connecticut.
in Connecticut. Yeah, I was a drummer originally.
I knew that because you played
Yeah.
drums in the Average White Band, right?
No. I played a few things in Average White Band.
Shows you what I
I
know.
played bass in almost half of the songs. Basically, I took the place of a person by the name of Hamish Stewart. And I never knew that was going to happen. I started writing with Alan Gorey, the original bass player, in 87
Okay.
because I had signed a publishing deal with Sony. And he happened to be local to my area, and my brother was in the booking industry. put us together. We just became songwriting partners for about 2 or 3 years, and we wrote a ton of songs. We really hit it off. I learned a lot from him. And then they decided to put Average White Band back together.
Okay.
And so that was about 89. And I didn't think I was going to join the band. I thought I was just going to be involved in writing their music and maybe co-production. So, all of a sudden I'm a member of this band. So that was really the first professional level stuff I did. And back then it was like we would play clubs, but then we would go over to Europe and we would play for 50 or 60,000 people. It was all over the place. I remember doing a festival in Belgium for 70,000 people. And this was like the first year out on tour. So it was crazy.
So what just to back up, I mean, what put you in a position where you had like a Sony publishing deal, like a writing deal?
So, like I said,
that's interesting.
I did what every kid did, had local bands, I was playing drums, but at some point it clicked that I wanted to be a songwriter. Mm-hmm. And so I realized that, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So it all revolves around songs and being a songwriter. So I transitioned to the guitar at around 16, and I just dove into that. And then by the time the 80s came, the technology exploded, and the synthesizer boom exploded, sampling, all that. So it was like, wait a minute, I can use all this technology and put all this stuff together myself. So I just got on this role of focusing on being a songwriter for years and developing a catalog that I thought was good enough or strong enough to present to a label or a publishing company. So that took a minute, took a few years. And who it was that sort of lined that up, interestingly, was Corky Lang, the drummer for Mountain. Because he was working for Sony.
Right.
And so it was just, all these things have so much to do with relationships with who you know. So I got my first publishing deal in about 1987 with Sony. And that really opened up my world. They put me together with a lot of different people who would fly out to LA and write a song with Prince's drummer and all sorts of crazy stuff. But I was writing with Alan Gorey from the Average White Band. And that's really how it all started for me. And then at the same time, actually, I did some work with Dan Hartman, who wrote Free Ride, I Can Dream About You, and big hits.
Yeah.
And so that was another real turning point for me, going from just being a local guy to being in this professional world. And so he took me under his wing because he lived close by. He heard some of my stuff and was like, I could use you. So, I started working with him, and I was programming for, Tina Turner's Simply the Best. So some cool records. Joe Cocker.
Earworm.
Yeah.
Largely New York based.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And he was producing James Brown and all sorts of amazing stuff. So,
being involved in the songwriting aspect of all of that stuff, I mean, did you participate in like studio activity and all of that? I mean, with these artists that you're talking about, like you were at Sony Studios in New York City, and they would come in.
Dan had his own studio. He had a world-class studio in Connecticut.
Okay.
And so, like when I stopped playing, probably when I was about 17 or 18, I just kind of let the whole idea of being in a band, because it didn't work out. I just didn't, I didn't get that magic record deal like we all prayed for. So I just focused on being a songwriter, producer, engineer kind of person. And then when the Average White Band happened, then all of a sudden I'm a member of this band. And now I'm fulfilling all of that original dream by being a touring musician.
So did they put songs on that comeback record?
Yeah.
Did they put songs on there that you wrote?
Yeah.
And then is it the story where they like had you play in the studio and then you like did a good job in the studio and they were like, hey, we have shows on the schedule?
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
That's
I co-wrote a bunch of songs for this comeback record,
Yeah.
right? I went out on vacation to meet my brother and sister-in-law on the West Coast. I took a train. I did a cross-country train trip, which was awesome. And when I was out there, I got a message from Alan, and he said, hey, would you be interested in coming out to Seattle to co-produce this record?
Yeah.
It had 4 or 5 songs I had written for it. And I was like, okay. So I came back home and then flew to Seattle and spent 3 months there making this record. And it was wild. Shaka Khan sang on the single, which is what I had written, a song called The Spirit of Love. And then what happened was they were like, when we were in Seattle, they were like, let's just go to a club, a local club,
So
just
you're
to
literally
try
like-
out some material.
You're like a 20-year-old guy watching Shaka Khan sing your song.
Yeah, I was
That's
like 25.
insane.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's rad.
yeah,
That's so
it's
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah,
but
that's
there's
kinda
stuff
cool.
in my early
Yeah.
part of my life that's crazy, like meeting Alice Cooper and jamming with Peter Frampton when I was 14. It's
How
been
did you get to jam with
What?
Peter Frampton?
it's
when
been
you were
it's been a
14?
wild journey, man.
Yeah.
God.
So, growing up, when I started playing drums at 10 years old, I met still one of my best friend, and he had just started bass, but his father was in the music business.
Okay.
And at that point, he was working for a company called Windfall Music, and they were working with the band Mountain, which became Wes Bruce and Lang, who that was the first concert I ever saw when I was, I think, 10 years old. And he was working with Peter Frampton. He was in the business. He was sort of responsible for signing Santana. Worked with Alice Cooper, took us to Alice Cooper at Madison Square Garden. My first time at the Garden at 11 years old, which is just mind-blowing, life-changing experience. And but he became the promotion man for A&M Records.
Okay.
So he was really the guy who was responsible for promoting Frampton Comes Alive, monumental record.
Yeah.
So one Sunday,
Is it still the best-selling live album of all time?
Peter
I
Frampton.
know it was for decades. Yeah.
So, we were jamming in his house, and one Sunday afternoon, Peter Frampton and his girlfriend drove in their Winnebago to the house, and we jammed. They just hung out for hours, and then we had our little rehearsal room in the basement, and he came down and we jammed.
And then you stole his Les Paul.
And then I sold his Les Paul, which was eventually returned to him
Yeah.
decades later.
Yeah. It all comes back to Eliot. Okay. I don't even know Torri, where were we? I don't even know where we were. Because the sidebars
Yeah,
are fascinating.
Seattle.
Seattle.
Shaka Khan,
Yeah.
singer,
Yeah.
singer.
Seattle
That's
Yeah, the
Shaka
average
Khan,
white
yeah.
band.
Yeah.
So I'm working on the record with them, and they decided they just had this idea of let's, because they're still writing a song or two, let's just set up in a club here, unannounced, not make a big deal of it, and just to work out some of these songs to record, And so that's how it started. And when I got back from that trip, they were like, we're going to go out and tour. There was no audition or like, do you want to join the band? It was just
No,
like,
they told you.
It was just like, show up here, we're going to rehearse, and we've got a tour lined up. So
And you played bass and keys?
so I played bass on some of the songs. I played a little bit of keys, and then ended up being one of the lead singers, because I kind of took the role of a person
Okay. Who
that
had
did that. Yeah.
Who had that.
Yeah.
Neat.
And then
How long did you guys do that?
Average White Band lasted for 13 years for me. So,
Wow, dude.
it started off where they had to rebuild sort of their career
Yeah.
in a small way. And like I said, they were playing clubs to festivals. We'd go out with Earth, Wind, and Fire, or we'd go out with
Yeah, because
James
they were kind of
Brown.
known for their big disco hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Pick Up the Pieces.
Yeah,
was
it's a big hit.
Yeah, it was a huge hit.
Yeah.
And A Love of Your Own, and Schoolboy
Yeah.
Crush and Cut the Cake. They had some great songs. So that was, we would go out on tour with B.B. King and all sorts of amazing people. And that's really ultimately what led me into Hall &
Hall &
Oates.
Oates, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
At some point that had to.
Well, because the Average White Band and Hall & Oates were both on Atlantic Records.
Okay.
And they shared the same producer, Arif Mardin, who produced really their signature records. Average White Band's White album.
Yeah.
So in Hall & Oates' Band the Luncheonette, that was
that's the big one,
their
yeah.
quintessential record.
Yeah.
So Alan and Daryl had known each other since the 70s.
Okay.
And and what happened really was that Daryl would end up showing up to an Average White Band gig, various places, one in Connecticut, some in London, and he would sit in, they sing a couple of songs, but he saw me in that element, I guess, enough times where eventually he came up to me and said, he kind of pulled me aside with his manager and said, I think we want you in our band.
That's amazing. So how does, I was so busy being punk rock boy in the 90s that I didn't pay, I didn't pay much attention to what Hall & Oates were doing until until I started hanging out with you in the aughts. So, I mean, how does the arc of their career work, right? Because, I mean, it's like G.E. Smith played for them in the 80s and whatnot. And then went and did the SNL thing. Was Hall & Oates just sort of, were they always sort of bubbling in the background, or did they have a little time off through the 90s?
They did. I think by the late 80s and the early 90s, maybe their popularity changed.
Well, sure.
Because
music changed.
Grunge came in and exactly everything, the whole climate change. And they were really, pop and soul.
Yeah.
And certainly in the early 80s, they kind of ruled the airwaves. I mean, they were just hit
without
makers.
a doubt, just number one record after
every
number one
time
record.
You turn on the radio, it was Kiss on My List or No Can Do or You Make My Dreams Come True. And,
there's this, we work with, and we do a signature guitar with a great dude, Tommy, and his great band, the Coffin Cats. And Torri's going out on tour with the Coffin Cats next month. As a matter of fact, he's going out on the road with them. But the Coffin Cats.
You play, right?
I do, yes. Yeah. I play guitar, bass, and drums. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kind of like me.
Yeah. When you were like, I'm a drummer
100%.
first, I was like, me too.
We got to start a band.
Yeah, we should, honestly. We'll make something happen.
We make dreams come true here. They do the most wicked, like, punk rock rockabilly version of Maneater. It is
really?
so awesome.
Oh, do they really?
Oh, they really do. It's
Yo,
badass.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. And
I've heard of that song, yeah.
And some of those songs, I mean, have become iconic in that way, where it's just like people do them, and you go, "Oh yeah, hell yeah," So when did they start? When did they start playing again? And how did you get involved with that?
With Hall & Oates?
Yeah, with Hall & Oates.
So the first thing that I did with Hall & Oates, because like I said, Alan and Daryl were working together. And in the early 90s, they were collaborating. Daryl and Alan were writing songs together because Daryl was doing a lot of solo records as well.
Yeah.
And so there came a point where when Average White Band wasn't touring, Alan would go out on the road and do tours with Hall & Oates as their bass player. So there was a situation where I think Alan had to fly back to Scotland. I think some health issues in his family or something. And he said, it was very last minute. He said, hey, Hall & Oates have like 3 or 4 shows at a casino in Connecticut, one of the big casinos. So he said, any chance you'd want to play bass? So this was about 4 or 5 days out of the shows. And I was like, okay. Why not? So I got the song list, which was about 17, 18 songs. And of course, most of them being hit songs. So they were in my mind. Even though I had never played them, at least I had some familiar territory to work with. Yeah. So I did. I learned these 17, 18 songs on bass and did these 3 or 4 shows. And I think that's when Daryl was like, oh, wait a minute. He plays keys, he sings, he can come on bass on the last minute. And I think that's kind of when he thought, oh, maybe I'd be a good fit for the band.
And so what year was this?
That would have been 96-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, 95, something like that. Yeah. So, and so I had a few more years to finish out. When Daryl first offered me to join Hall & Oates, I kind of wasn't ready because I had a nice gig in Average White Band because I was writing, I was singing, I was sort of it was a real, in Hall & Oates, I was really a side musician. It was Daryl and John, of course. So when he offered
Daryl, John, and John's Mustang.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And the side project I had with John called Ellen Oates. It was a little known project that never really took off.
The bass player and I, and Penny's cringing right now. The bass player and I, in a band that I was in the late 90s, were going to start a side project called Hell and Goats.
Nice.
And we never got it off the ground because we're losers.
Still time.
What's up?
Still got time.
True. I just got to talk my boy Pat into playing bass again. Unfortunately.
You
Monster
keep him
player.
busy. You still do your the twins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Zimmerman twins are still cooking. Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you. Yeah,
And
we
you
have
did
fun.
like a sizable tour not long ago.
That is, I'm in 3 bands, so I'm still doing the Zimmerman Twins, and then I'm still doing the Polka Floyd show.
Right,
And then
right.
I'm in a band called Jay Navarro and the Traders, and Jay is a singer for a popular ska band called the Suicide Machines out of Detroit.
Okay.
And he has some notoriety there, and so we've done some really fun tours with him. The Twins. It's been a minute. I mean, we do shows around town. We go up to Detroit and play every once in a while. We used to go down to Nashville and play often. And I have an offer to get the Twins down to Nashville in the spring, but all that stuff is.
So 3 bands, and you run an international
I'm 3 bands and none of them
guitar
are doing
company.
a damn thing.
Very impressive, my friend.
I try, but nobody is like super busy at the moment. So, but we are. There's a lot of stuff going on around here. So,
Well, I have to
I'm
say,
letting this occupy my time.
from the time I started working with you and playing Reverends, just the amount of growth that I've seen this company have is very impressive, man. You've done amazing things. It seems like the brand is everywhere now. So, rock on.
We're trying. We're doing our best. It's a lot of permeating the popular culture, one guitar player at a time. And a little bit of the slow and steady wins the race. And, I just did a clinic in North Carolina in Carborough Wednesday night at a great store called Twin House Music. And I like to go out and do dealer events and meet people and talk to people. But that exact subject came up because there was somebody there who I've known for 20 years, 15 years anyway. And we were talking about that. And I see in the music industry a lot, people get involved in like the instrument end of this business and they come in with a lot of money and they think that that's going to do it. And they end up a few years later without a lot of money. Because it's you can't just like advertise and sell stuff in this business. Like you have to be in it. You have to immerse yourself in it and be a part of it. And we've never had a lot of money to bring to the table, but we've figured out we've always figured out how to keep it going. And over time, just more and more people being involved in every genre you can imagine has worked for us. I mean, guys like you who work with legends who have your own following and fit in everywhere, and you played with so many people. You know how much mileage we've gotten off of you over the years? The Billy Gibbons video.
Oh, the Billy Gibbons,
alone, people
that was,
still Torri,
that was fun.
You know what a Tricky Gomez is? This model we used to make with Retroblast pickups on our old Manta Ray body with the big
Semi hollow,
And get this, I know everybody in this room is going to find this hard to believe. The factory made a mistake.
What?
I know.
Right
And we got, but that's how we get some of the coolest colors and configurations sometimes.
Oh, was that a mistake?
And we got 4 satin army green Tricky Gomez's. And with the Bigsby and the Tortoise Garden, I mean, it was really, really cool.
Guitar.
Billy
was eyeing that.
I had taken some pictures of it and put it online, and you called me like an hour later, like, hey. And I'm like, oh, yeah, man, I got one for you. But so how he played with Billy Gibbons is you went from touring with Hall & Oates for years to being one of the house musicians on Live at Daryl's House.
Exactly.
And because you can play everything on those Live at Daryl's shows, when you look back at them, you see a little bit over here, a little bit over there. But on the Billy Gibbons show, you got to play guitar.
Exactly.
They
for people who don't know, right? So I was very fortunate to be, on the ground floor of Daryl's show, live from Daryl's house, from the first episode on, And, but, for people that don't know my career, I was typically the keyboard player for Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Background vocals. Early on, I did some tours with them where I would play acoustic guitar. In some of the early episodes, I'd play a little bit of guitar here and there. Ben Folds was one of the episodes I played some guitar. But Billy Gibbons, when he came in, he brought two keyboard players from his road band. So
Wow.
our MD at the time said, well, Eliot plays guitar. And he's like, great, more guitar, the better. So, when we got around to playing these iconic songs, these, LaGrange and Sharp Dressed Man, everybody took a solo. And
Yeah. And did you do that off the cuff?
Totally,
we're an A or whatever. I'm just going to rip one off.
Totally. I mean,
you didn't think about that beforehand?
No, not at all. But
Did you think you were going to get thrown a solo?
Not really. Not really.
I understand. I mean, I wouldn't in that situation. I wouldn't think like
I was sort of prepared for it, but I mean, it's it's bluesy stuff.
Yeah, right.
It's a very simple musical setting, but. Also, though, at that time, I had been listening to a lot of ZZ Top. I've been listening to a lot of Billy Gibbons. So it was a really perfect timing for me musically to kind of do that, And he was a sweetheart. He was so cool. He came in, he had little gifts for everybody, like dice. And out of all the shows, and I've worked with almost 100 people on that show, on Live from Daryl's House, I had never asked anybody for an autograph, but I happened to have Billy Gibbons' book. I think it's called Guitar Head, or Gear and Guitars, or something like that, or Cars and Gear, or something like that. It was a great book. It was a coffee table book, and I just figured, what the hell? I'm going to bring it in and see if he signs it. And of course, he did, and we talked guitars for a bit, and he's a sweetheart. He uses 7-gauge strings, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard.
Whoa.
And so trying to play his guitar, you bend like off the neck,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How he gets
heard
that
about
sound with 7-gauge strings.
He's the example that people are like, you got to use heavy strings to sound good. And everybody's like, Billy Gibbons kind of sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's made it work.
Yeah, he's made it work. Yeah.
I used the Tricky Gomez on that. And
every once in a while, somebody will still send me that video. Like, hey, did you see this? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I saw it. Yep, sure did.
Really
saw it when it happened.
that was a fun one.
It's really cool. It's a really cool story.
Joe Walsh. I didn't play
talk
guitar
about
with
some
him.
of the other artists that you played with on that show. How many of those shows were there?
There was, I think right now there's probably been 100. So I did almost all of them except for the last 3.
Okay.
Because I left the camp, and that it meant leaving sort of all of that. But I'm not even sure they're still shooting the show.
Yeah.
But it was 90-ish shows. I mean, Joe Walsh, Cheap Trick, Billy Gibbons, Todd Rundgren, the Goo Goo Dolls, Rob Thomas.
Anybody stand out? What's a good story?
How was Sharon Jones? That was a good.
Sharon Jones is great. Sharon Jones was great. We miss her, and we did a lot of stuff with her. We went out on tour. I think that, in fact, the first time I played Madison Square Garden was with Sharon Jones. What a fireball she was.
So did you pick up the Hall & Oates thing when they were in sort of a downturn in their career, and then the nostalgia thing started to hit for that band, and when it did, I mean, it hit hard, and then you're back to like Madison Square Garden level. Like, that's crazy.
Well, the craziest
That's
thing,
incredible.
Ken,
Yeah.
the craziest thing when the first tour I did with Hall & Oates was an arena tour, and now I'm in Hall & Oates. I'm in the headlining band, and the opening band was Average White Band.
Oh, that's brutal.
But it was fun. It was Michael McDonald, Average White Band, and Hall & Oates. And it was a fun tour. It was it's called the Soul Review, Rock and Soul Review. And,
Steely Dan fans in the back are like, Michael McDonald?
Yeah.
Tell us about Michael McDonald.
Oh, he's a sweetheart. I mean, he's such a humble guy. When we were rehearsing for the tour, I'm playing keys in Hall & Oates, and we were rehearsing it down in Florida because the first show I think was in Tampa. and we were at a rehearsal studio. And at some point, so at the end of this show, these 3-band shows, we did like 4 songs together with all the bands.
Sure.
And there was a song, I forget what it was, but we were working on it in sound check and rehearsal. And Michael McDonald says, Eliot, come over here. And he said, sit down here at his piano. And he said, what are the chords on this song? And I'm like, wait a minute. Am I teaching Michael McDonald something?
Wild.
It was, mind blowing. He says,
Wow.
like, I don't know what key I'm playing in half the time.
My hero.
Yeah. So,
Same, dude.
but he was a sweetheart. I would literally see him. We would be on the road, and I would see him walk with his son from the hotel to a store or to a restaurant on the side of the street. No limos, no fancy stuff.
What a legend.
Voice of an angel.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of standouts on the show. Joe Walsh was a huge thrill, and
Big Joe Walsh fans.
Todd Rundgren, and oh man.
So let's talk about your solo game, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because you're playing.
Yeah.
You're out on the road now.
I am.
So, what made you? Obviously, when we met you, you were doing the solo gig stuff in 2009 or whatever that was.
Yeah.
What made you turn that corner? And obviously, I've got your records. I mean, you're still writing songs. You're doing your own thing. Did you just want to be doing your own thing finally? What was the
yes.
impetus
I
there?
mean, my original motivation was always to be an artist,
Sure.
to be a songwriter and to be an artist. But I was a part of these bands. So towards the end of my stay with Average White Band, I put out my first solo record. So that would have been 1999-ish, a record called You Get Back What You Give.
Okay.
And so from there, I started to really operate also as a solo artist. I was still in Average White Band. I started doing my own solo shows. And then when I left Average White Band, then I really, really got into my own career. Put a few records out during those couple of years before I joined Hall & Oates. And then when I joined Hall & Oates, they were touring pretty heavily. And so I had to figure out a way of combining my own solo career with them. So I literally would book shows, and on a night off, I'd play various cities.
Yeah.
And, to try to make the most of that experience. And then when I was off the road, I would go out and do my own runs. And I obviously started coming out here in 2009, 2010, something like that.
Yeah, you've been sipping out to the Midwest for a while, and you got a pretty.
This has
really
always
good
been
following
a great market for me. It started very small, and then fortunately, every time I'd come out here, get asked back. So
well, you do some cool stuff. I think you've hit on a few things that maybe people in your position haven't hit on before, but. Like Hall & Oates will be playing in Detroit or Cleveland or Akron or whatever the bigger cities are. And then you would come out and go and play in cities like Findlay. Yeah. And
exactly.
And
on a night off.
On a night off or whatever. And then you built a following in those towns where artists don't usually hit those towns,
Exactly.
And
it was a way for me to reach a lot of areas that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to get to on my own at that point.
Yeah, that's cool. And your solo show is just you.
It's just me. So,
and it always has been. I've seen,
pretty much, yeah.
I talk just real quick about the technology of your solo show and how it's changed over the years because it's interesting.
Yeah.
And then I want to hear the story about how you used to steal your mom's car to go to the guitar show. But let's.
Yeah.
But when I first saw you were the first person I ever saw use one of those Bose Tower speakers.
Oh, yeah.
Never seen that before in my life. I don't know how long ago that was. I'd never seen
that's
that.
a long time. And I'm still using that style, the line array kind of thing.
You were probably the first person that I ever saw playing tracks.
Yeah, I was playing with backing tracks that were obviously my own tracks that were my recordings, usually for my records. And I had to figure out a way to do it while I was on tour with Hall & Oates. I had to be self-sufficient. I couldn't have a band, obviously.
Right.
So I had to figure out a way to do it myself. So I was using backing tracks, playing guitar, and singing live, of course. And then it evolved. I had people throughout the years, especially, I guess, from about the year 2000, 2005, when looping started to just become a thing, live looping. And people would always say, "El, you should try live looping. It's be perfect for you since you're a multi-instrumentalist and it's all live, it's spontaneous." And it took me a minute. So eventually I started to dabble in it. And, it's a completely different beast. And my vision for it was, a lot of people that loop are typically using an acoustic guitar, they're creating a rhythm. It's a very minimal thing, My vision for it was to try to create a band, to try to be the drummer I was, a bass player, guitar, put harmonies together. So it took a few years before I felt comfortable enough to debut that.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been doing now for 3 years. And it's wild. It's so challenging, because it's you have to be so inside the music you're playing, because you're recording a track of drums, then you're recording some guitar, and then I'll switch to a different part of the song, and now I'm singing and I'm recording bass at the same time. So you never get tired. When I was working with tracks, you can get on autopilot. Like, I know what's coming up. It's the arrangement.
Sure.
This is completely spontaneous. I have a whole list of songs that I play, my own material, and then I call on a lot of songs that I've played with other artists.
Yeah. Right.
And every time I do them, they're different. So, I can change something on the spot. I can lengthen a section. I can add to it. I can subtract. So it's fun. It's a lot of freedom. It's crazy.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you would evolve that to that point.
It is. Yeah. It's I love it. But again,
So did you bring drums with you?
No, I do it all on a drum pad. I'm playing with sticks.
Sure.
I'm playing with sticks.
No, I understand.
My vision for it is to build up the production where I can be playing on a proper acoustic kit.
That seems crazy.
But exactly. That will happen, but that takes production. I'm
Yeah, of
doing
course.
everything myself. I'm self-contained. I'm doing all my social media, all my marketing, everything. So, there's only so many hours
There's only
in a day.
yeah, of course.
So, but that is my vision, and it's moving in its direction. Sometimes I play a little bit of keyboards, but the guitar, the show I do is very guitar focused.
Yeah. And what guitar are you playing, Eliot?
I don't know. Let's see.
I suppose we should bring that up since that's what we do here. This is Eliot's Sensei DA.
This is my
Sensei
latest
H90. We refer to that as.
Yeah,
And that H stands for humbucker, and that 90 is for the P90 in the neck.
that's a great combination.
It is.
It's
It's
a great
super versatile.
combination.
I can see how it works for you. And are you like? Are you on the bass contour a lot?
Yeah,
Or
I use it. I do
yeah.
use it. I use it because
It would seem like it would be something that would work within your show.
yes, because I
To
do
get
some
different
funk.
sounds so quickly.
I do some funk, and I want a single coilish sound.
Yeah.
So this is a great combination. I can go for the rock stuff on the humbucker, and I love the shape, man. I have had a lot of guitars in my life.
Yeah, you have. You've had a lot of my guitars.
I've had a lot of Reverends, exactly. And I was thinking about the first time I discovered Reverend was really what happened was, can I mention other brands?
I don't care.
So I wanted a Flying V.
Yeah.
And this is back
Oh,
in
yeah, I
2009.
remember. Yeah.
So what happened was I wanted Flying V, but because I'm very peculiar, I like different stuff. I don't like typical stuff sometimes. I went out and looked to see if there was a Flying V that was sort of a variation on a typical Flying V. And I discovered your Volcano back in that era. And I purchased it, and because I had read some reviews, and the quality, the reputation of Reverend has always been like stellar. So I bought this Volcano, and I thought, this is a great guitar. So that's when I reached out to you.
Yeah.
I was like, hey,
Yeah.
I've got this guitar, I love it. Maybe we can do something.
I have some great,
that led
I have
to
great pictures
and that
of you
led
with
to
that,
300 Reverend purchases.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have some great pictures of you with the V, and you had a tour poster with you holding the V.
Yeah.
And that was around you used that in your marketing for quite a bit there.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
They're great guitars. Great guitars. And, I love the fact that your guitars are all still made out of Carina, right?
Yeah, great.
It's
Carina
my
bodies.
it's my favorite wood.
Yeah.
So there, and I always say, you guys I'd buy a Reverend, you would ship it to me on location, on tour, and I would literally be able to unbox it and play it without even thinking about it, without even setting it up, because, your quality control is just second to none.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I got into that quite a bit the other night too. With this idea that electric guitars are like wood and wire and parts, and people use similar. I mean, we have better pickups than everybody else, and we use high quality tuners, and we've got all this design element and all the cool shit that we have going on.
Yeah.
Right. All that's true. All of that notwithstanding, they're wood and wire. And you can design something that's made out of wood and wire, and you can put it together, and you take the parts. You go to bigger brands, factories, and they're making necks over here and bodies over here and pickups over here. And then at some point, it all comes together, and it all gets put together into a guitar-shaped object. Okay? GSO. And then they take that guitar-shaped object, and they throw it in a box, and they ship it to a customer.
Yeah.
And if you've got a really good dealer, they'll turn that GSO into an instrument. We prefer to turn them into instruments here in Toledo. And my techs are the best techs in the business. John, take a bow. And Zach and Gomez and Brian and Chris and the list goes on. But I mean, these guys take these guitars and turn them into instruments so that when you get them, you're like, whoa. Like that,
you don't have to do anything. Exactly.
And that's the point. And they're made, for pros. There's my advertising part. Brought to you by Reverend Guitar.
It's true. It's true. For me as a player, I have a lot of guitars in my life, and from the big manufacturers, and I'm 9 out of 10 times, I always find I have to do something to them, whether it's tweaking the tuners or a pickup change or something. Reverend is the one brand that I literally don't have to do anything to. I feel like you guys have always listened to guitar players and like, what do you guys want to see in a guitar? For instance, for me, I'm very particular. My wife knows this. For instance, like,
pick it up.
I have a problem playing certain guitars that, like a Les Paul, for instance, right? Classic guitar. Everybody has played one. They just don't work for me because of my style of playing. Because I do a lot of funk playing, this contour means everything to me. And the back cut. The fact that they're a little bit more narrow than some of the big 10-pound, 11-pound guitars works for me. And the necks, action is always set up. They're just great. And I'm a little more partial. I recently got the Roundhouse, which is great. More of a single cut, but I'm a little more partial to double cuts. It just, for me, it is.
They resonate differently. So
they do.
The more of the neck that's away from the body, the more like resonance that you get out of the body, in theory. And single cuts are cool and Les Pauls are cool because you get this really tight, like super focused thing going on in like the lower mid range, especially as weird as it sounds, but especially when you're playing on the wound strings high up the neck, you get this thing that only that style of guitar does, you know? But yeah, I mean, that's why there's multiple guitars out there. When people try to sell me on the one guitar to do everything idea every once in a while. Yeah. And we get the phone calls. My favorite is I've developed a pickup switching system that you can get 76 tones out of 3 pickups. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And everybody, and knowing guitar players and being one myself, I don't want one guitar to do everything. I want 20 guitars, and I know what each one of those guitars does the best.
Yeah. Just 20, Ken?
What?
Just 20?
Well.
Yeah, and it depends.
What are you saying, Jeff?
It depends on what you're doing, too.
Of course.
Like, I have a few guitars that are great, and if I were playing in a band and not doing what I'm doing, they'd be great. But there's some older classic designs that were designed, and I don't know why, but you strap them on and the neck wants to go down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that to me doesn't work. For instance, when I'm doing the slooping show, I'm playing drums on a lot of the intro. So, the guitar is free, and I need a guitar that sits exactly in the right spot.
What do you use for strap locks?
I don't use strap locks. No, these are
drumming.
fine. Huh?
You hear that, everybody?
Yeah, no problem
I mean,
with
we
that.
use nice wide buttons, so if you've got some
Exactly, yeah. I don't have a problem with that. And the tuners
Interesting.
you use are great.
Yeah,
I
the
typically,
tuners are
when I
sweet.
string this up, I do my one stretch. I don't tune them almost all night. Rare.
Hey, Jeff. Is anybody chiming in out there?
Yeah.
Let's.
Here to hear what the people have to say.
I want to hear what the people have to say. If anybody's got any questions, Tori, do you have any questions? for
Not
this?
at the moment. No,
Yeah.
I've just been really enjoying hearing all these stories. I'm like, my jaw is just like a jar the whole time. I'm like, this is insane. Like, it's so cool. Like playing with these amazing artists and playing these amazing rooms and stuff
Yeah,
like that. That's like
it's-
that is the dream. That is my goal.
I've
So
been very fortunate.
yeah, it's
really
amazing.
Tori is, you wouldn't know it from her age, but she's a product of the 80s. She's
Mhm.
a child of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan I enjoy spending time with Tori because we spent a lot of time talking about the Talking Heads and the B-52s and
Nice.
Devo.
And Devo
Yeah,
and-
I love Devo. I saw the B-52s in Devo in Toronto a couple weeks ago, and I think I was more excited than like 90% of the people there.
right?
Yeah, it was one of the best concerts I've ever been to.
Wow.
I was so giddy about it.
That's great.
Everyone
a lot-
around me was.
And she's a big fan of the 70s,
Mhm.
like New York scene, the television, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
the New York scene, like
Mhm.
everything revolving around CBGB and all the bands that came through there,
Yep.
like that is like that's my stuff. I love it. Like any band that like touched that stage in
Mhm.
between like I don't know, like 72 to like
Yeah.
the mid 80s, like
Mhm.
those are my bands.
Yeah.
So
Blondie and Talking Heads and
yeah.
even
yeah.
the Police played there. I guess
Late 70s.
Yes,
yeah.
they did.
Like
yeah.
their first gig.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. I walked into CBGB's once, the original CBGB's. Wow. Did you ever go there?
No.
Yeah.
It was an experience.
Oh, I'm sure.
I
My
mean, Probably smaller than this room.
team's tiny.
You know,
Yeah.
what a legendary place.
Yeah, I went in there recently because now it's like a high-end clothing store, and it was just
Yeah.
really depressing to go into because
I
it was just
know.
like the antithesis of punk. It was like,
Isn't it like Barbados or something?
yeah, it is a
Or-
Barbados
yeah.
store
yeah,
now. Yeah. You can spend $100 on a T-shirt. that
Yeah,
says CBGB
exactly.
now.
Or more.
or more. They also had like used vinyl there, and I used to work at a record store, so
Mhm.
like. Anyways, like they had like a record that was like worth $7 for like $60.
Yeah.
And then like they also had really expensive records for $60. So I mean it
Mhm.
was like a kind of like a Russian roulette if you were gonna
Yeah.
get something actually valuable or not. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then they have the street facade is over in Cleveland
Oh,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
okay.
at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Mhm.
Okay.
basement there.
You know,
They
it's so
took
funny.
it down and-
Many times as I played in Cleveland, never done the tour.
Oh, you should do it.
Never done the
It's
tour.
pretty cool.
We're not gonna.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it without me saying it?
Talk about what?
The museum, the Cleveland Museum by the lake that
The
has
Rock
the
and Roll
bands
Hall
and
of
stuff.
Fame. I just said it.
That's what you call it. I'll call it that when they induct the Jay Giles band. But until then, it's
Jay
just-
Giles.
It's still just the museum by the lake. Like Tori's cringing. She's like, he's
We-
talking about Jay.
Were
Poor
you-
Tori had to go there with me earlier this year
Really?
and listen to me walk around for 48 hours. Going, hey, put the fucking Jay Giles band in here. They call it the Hall of
And I
Fame.
was like, oh, look at that. That's really cool. They have Richard Hell's bass, and he's behind me. I'm like,
yeah, I mean that's cool and everything. Richard Hell's bass, but Jay Giles isn't in here, so
So you're a Jay Giles fan?
huge.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they're only like the best live rock and roll band of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought the house down.
So
You have a story?
I have a little story, and it coincides with the very tragic passing of Mr. Ace Frehley.
Okay.
But I saw Jay Giles was my first Kiss experience,
That's weird.
1976.
Which one of them did you make out with?
Gene, of
Kiss
course.
the band. This thing got it went woo. So
No,
okay.
my first Kiss show.
Okay.
So, long story short, Kiss goes so far back in my life
Mhm.
through my friend I was talking about earlier, brought home Kiss's demo tape for his son and I to listen to because they were shopping a deal.
Yeah.
So I heard their demo tape in 1973.
Jeez.
And, he would ask us because he would want to get feedback from kids. Like, what do you think about this? And I thought,
And
oh,
you would have been like 3 or 4 years old at the time. So
no, I was in '73. I was 11. I was 11.
I
Yeah.
refuse to accept
Something like that.
Yeah. You can't look that much better than me and be older than me at the same time. So knock it off.
So heard their demo tape and thought, oh, makeup is a little crazy. It sounds like heavy Rolling Stones or something like that. But then within 6 months, they were on every music magazine you
Sure, of
could
course.
find. So I fell in love with them just because they were just so crazy and over the top, and went to see them the first time in New Jersey in 1976 on the Destroyer tour. And Bob Seger and Jay Giles opened up. It was a crazy day.
What a crazy time in music.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was like 100 degrees outside. We're sweating, and but I had to see Kiss. But Jay Giles were great.
Yeah,
really great.
Yeah, and even by then they probably weren't at the height of their power. They were at the height of their power in about '72. But that's just me.
When did they kind of? I never followed them much, so I never knew a lot about their.
By the
history.
early '70s, they were doing live records in Detroit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and the first they released probably 3 or 4 live records out of the Motor City, and they're all legendary. And they're one of those bands that like really seemed to happen in like Boston and Detroit and Philadelphia.
Yep.
When the rest of the country hadn't really caught up on it, and they would come out to the Midwest and do Cleveland and Detroit, and everybody was just super into it. So,
do you know a great guitar player? He's a good friend of mine, Johnny A.
Yeah, I know Johnny.
Yeah, great player. He played with Peter Wolf and his band for many
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great guitarist.
Yeah,
and really nice guy.
Yeah,
and he's another guy that he started running direct.
Yeah, exactly.
Like really before people really cottoned on to what that was.
Exactly. I got introduced to him because we had an insanely good guitar player live from Daryl's house very early on, who's known for his acoustic skills. He's like Van Halen and Jimi Hendrix on an acoustic. His name is Monty Montgomery.
Yeah, I know that.
Crazy. We became great friends.
I am a huge fan of Monty Montgomery.
He's amazing, man.
He's an absolute legend.
Yeah.
He plays at the Dallas International Guitar Festival every year. Naylor and I have been following Monty since the mid-2000s.
He's wicked, and he's a sweetheart of a guy. So I went to see him locally to where I live, and Johnny A was opening up. Yeah. And I was like, wow, he's all direct. He had a great tone. He was using Gibson, I think, at the time. And so it really inspired me to go the modeling route, to go the direct route. And we became friends, and I opened up for him. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He used to use, so just to nerd out just for a second, like we haven't been nerding out for the last 55 minutes.
Yeah.
But he used to use a 30th anniversary Marshall. And it was a 1992. Yeah. I think they called him the 6100.
Okay.
And I loved that head. It was a 3-channel head that you could get full gain out of channel 2. And so you could set up the 3rd channel as a lead channel, and I'd never used any effects back then. So I used to like to just have a boost. And it really that amp and like boogie stuff was really the only amps that had that like readily available at that time. And I couldn't believe
what that higher gain you mean?
That out. Yeah, the higher gain, and then to be able to just have a channel that just adjusts the volume on, but that amp had an XLR out, and that was Johnny. You could turn off the power amp and use the XLR, and it really sounded terrific. And I think he used those for a really long time.
He is a serious gearhead. Oh my God,
monster tone all the time. Back to Monty. Monty plays these Alvarez acoustics. He puts a cover on. You got to see this guy.
Oh, he's
because
amazing.
Naylor and I used to tell people about him, and I'd take people to go see him, and we would stand there with like professional guitar players who would be like, he's got to be playing along with something. There is no way one person can do that. He was found by the Live from Daryl's House camp because he was kind of known for doing this amazing version of Sarah Smile. So they found him on YouTube and invited him. Cool.
Invited him to do the show.
That's ridiculous. That's awesome.
Yeah, we became friends. And and when he played, at least on one occasion, he invited me up to play with him, and I was like, sure. But then I was like, wait a minute. I'm going to play with Monty Montgomery? This is either the stupidest thing I've ever done or it'll be fun because...
The River. his song "The River." That's the just
The river. Yeah.
look it up. It's amazing. Yeah. Sorry, I said, hey, let's take some questions, and then we were off. What do you got? What do you got, Jeff? You got anything?
Didn't take questions.
We didn't.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get back on. So Collar City Guitars chimed in.
Oh yeah,
It
Peter.
says, Eliot, your songs often have that tight, soulful groove. What role does your guitar tone play in shaping the feel or direction of a song as it develops?
Stumped. Well, mister, what do you think? What role does your guitar tone take in shaping that soulful feel that you get when you are writing songs? Do you think about it ahead of time, or do you just make it happen?
I kind of make it happen. Yeah, so, I'm definitely a gearhead as well. I'm always trying new stuff, I think, as most of us are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always exploring new guitars, new gear. Early on, I just always decided to embrace the technology and see where it leads you, because it can spark a lot of creativity.
Do you have the guitar sound in your head when you're sitting down to write something?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah?
Usually, yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. And it's, we're always trying to get to that tone, I guess. But it's usually in that, for me, it's not much high gain stuff. Mm-hmm. It's always the middle breakup ground. Mm-hmm. I want it clean. I want it really articulate, but I want enough dirt there for it to carry and to have some weight. I find in this guitar, I'm spending a lot of time in the middle position. That's a great.
Yeah.
It's so unique, really.
It's by far our best-selling pickup configuration.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason. You can get a little bit of that mid from the P90, like single coil thing mixed in with the humbucker, the scoopy thing that the humbuckers do. It sounds great. What else you got, Jeff?
Chris Waters has a question for Torri. He says, Torri, will you be at the Virginia Beach Coffin Cats show?
I believe so, actually. Whatever the tour that was just announced, I'm going to be on that whole thing. So that I believe so. Yes. Yeah, I'll be with Playboy Man Baby.
Chris Zielinski, our own Chris Zielinski. Question for Eliot. It says, with everybody you've played with, have you ever been awestruck, or I can't believe I'm playing this song with this artist?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Maybe Joe Walsh and Todd Rundgren. These are people that go so far back in my history. Actually, I'm asked sometimes, like, out of everybody I've played with, who's the favorite artist you played with? And there's no one particular one, because there's so many that are equal for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Cheap Trick was a band I discovered, at 14 years old, that I fell in love with and was able to play with. So, but I would say Cheap Trick, Joe Walsh, Billy Gibbons were kind of all on the same level.
While we're in the thick of it, I mean, did you ever meet or play with Ace?
I never played with him. I did some in-store thing actually with Alan Gorey, part of the Average White Band, and we did it in a place in Danbury, Connecticut called the East Coast Music Mall. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but Ace was on that. We just crossed paths briefly, but never really played with him. No, have friends that have and know him.
Over the last few days, of course, I'm seeing stories of people that I know and their interactions with him as everybody's kind of bringing it up.
Man, he influenced a lot of people, and me included. I mean, to pick up a guitar, at that time.
What's got, Jeff?
We got
people are watching. Love it.
Johnny Cola chimed in and said he saw Eliot on the beach in Long Beach, New York a while back, and he had the whole boardwalk dancing. So
I remember that. Hello, Johnny.
Good friend of ours. Good, big friend of the company.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah,
for sure. Cool.
That wraps it up over here, man.
Hey, man. Well, listen, thanks for watching. So let's talk about, all three of us have stuff coming up. We're going to start with you. Where do you go from here? Tonight you're playing in...
I'm in Findlay.
In Findlay, where at?
Flight House.
Okay.
First time there, but I do play Findlay regularly. I have a lot of friends there. Sometimes I play the big Marathon Center. So this is a new place for me.
And then tomorrow night you're here.
And tomorrow night I'm coming
210?
back to the Village Idiot.
Yeah.
And I haven't played there in years, but
Yeah,
I
it's
had
been like-
so many fun shows there, so I'm really looking forward to
Still the
it.
same.
Yeah. Pizza's still great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The early show is the good one.
And they have, that's
Right?
They
It's
have
fun.
bands there like every night of the week, right?
Every night of the
It's
week, and
incredible.
they usually have
Awesome.
bands at,
Yeah.
in because what are you playing, 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually do
6
like
to
a
9.
6 to 8 and then
Yeah.
or a 6 to 9
Yep.
and a 10 to 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
I am playing there tonight at the Polka Floyd show. We're doing that late shift,
Mhm.
10 to 2 shift. And, hit us up and let us know what record you'd like to play first so that we play your favorite before you leave after the first set.
Nice.
I'm a realist. I know what's going on.
Just like 30 minutes,
Just
that's
know
like
that
me.
if you stay till the end, at the end, I'm playing Echoes. Cool. And then where do you go from Northwest Ohio?
Back home, this kind of wraps most of my touring year up.
Okay.
Yep.
And what's next?
I may have one like a holiday show,
Okay.
and then I'm just gearing up for next year. I'll be making a lot of music over the winter, and working on all that content stuff.
Gonna do another solo record for
Yeah.
next year?
Yep, absolutely. Have a couple of things started, and booking for next year, and a lot of new ideas.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Tor's got a big weekend.
It's not big.
I think it sounds cool. I wish I could go.
I'm driving back to Buffalo tonight. My band Flower Kitty, that
Mhm.
is based out of Rochester. We're playing like a cover show
Mhm.
tomorrow night for Halloween, where everyone's getting all dressed up, and we're doing all Nirvana covers,
Nice.
which is really fun. And I'm playing with a couple of my friends' bands. One of the bands is like my old roommate's band, so it'll be like nice to see everybody. A lot of those people I haven't seen since I moved, so that's the big crazy thing that's happening over the
Nice.
weekend. But I think it's gonna be a good time. We're all dressing up as nuns
Awesome.
because there's a really good video of
Nuns to
nuns
Nirvana.
looking at a CD of In Utero,
Mhm.
just being like, "What is this?" So yeah, it's gonna be great. Very excited.
Cool.
Yeah,
Sounds awesome.
yeah.
I'm going to be in that area actually in the
spring.
Oh,
I'll be
really?
in the Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester area. I have a couple of dates.
anchor
Nice.
date. So
Well, if you need any like food recommendations in Buffalo,
awesome.
let me know.
Cool.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We've got, let's see, we're going to have Daisy Grenade in the studio next week. We just had Ben Quad guys were in here. We've
Mhm.
got a lot of fun studio stuff happening, and
Nice.
you'll be here next Friday, right, Tor?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, I think we probably, with all those new releases, we should probably sit down and play those 10th anniversary Descents, and we should probably talk about some of that stuff next week, I'm guessing.
Okay, yeah.
So tune in next Friday, and Ken and Tori will make some noise.
Cute.
See